Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you've got Darren Little here from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And thanks a lot for joining us on this exclusive and private VIP broadcast. Guys, tonight I am fired up, and I'll tell you why. We are just about to roll out the next 2-month Millionaire Mentoring Intensive with the Top Recruiters Academy. And guys, this is exciting. First of all, I'll share with you that I only work with 15 people. It's a very, very close-knit group. It's live and it's interactive. It's held every Saturday, and it goes for between 3.5 to 5 hours every week for 2 entire months. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly could I be covering over the course of a 2-month period of time to help people go from literally homeless to a point where they're financially free, a lot of times within a 6-month period of time? In fact, people that have gone through this training, not only have they completely changed their financial situation, but they've also changed their health and wellness, their spiritual and emotional. They've repaired relationships in their family or with their friends. They've repaired their marriages. They've been able to travel around the world to really make a difference and give back and really become that shining light that people really, really dream about. Now, I'm going to share with you that a lot of the stuff that I cover is what I would call a little bit unconventional. Now, what do I mean by that? I started working in my early 20s with Anthony Robbins, and Anthony Robbins has some very, very profound material, but there was something that was missing, and I couldn't really put my finger on it. And I went out to the forest this one day, and I literally proclaimed that I was ready for my next level breakthrough. And lo and behold, into my reality showed up a gentleman by the name of Dr. Lee Poulos. He was a clinical psychologist. He was the president for the Canadian Society for Clinical Hypnosis, and he was curing stage 4 cancer patients with his hypnosis strategies and helping them to actually heal their bodies. And I was his vice president for almost 3 years. And during that time, I really learned about the power of the subconscious mind and our true core beliefs about money. What exactly is stopping you? I want you to think about this. Why aren't you already financially free? Well, we come into this world and we know everything when we first get here, and the world programs us to know nothing and to feel unworthy, to feel undeserving, to feel actually guilty for abundance, and to be in a situation where we don't love ourselves and we don't have any type of healthy boundaries. It's called the human condition. And I'm telling you, it is nasty. It is nasty. A lot of people don't understand this, that about 80% of your self-talk every single day is actually going to be negative. Now, how are you going to overcome the human condition? I'll tell you what, I have a little secret that I share with my students in the Top Recruiters Academy, where I teach them how the matrix works, how to use the game controller, and what is the goal in the game, right? Now, this is not in any book. This is not in any seminars that you can attend. In fact, people that enter into this program actually have to sign a non-disclosure document even to be able to get into the program. Now, Dr. Poulos taught me a lot about the human condition and how our subconscious mind is actually what is steering our ship. You might think that you want abundance, but guess what? It's really your subconscious mind that's going to determine whether or not you're going to get there. So Dr. Poulos said to me, he said, Darren, I want you to visualize BC Place Stadium. Okay, so this massive stadium. And on the very top, I want you to visualize a little tiny golf ball. That little golf ball is your conscious mind. BC Place Stadium is your subconscious mind. All of the events that have gone through your mind, not only when they happened, but every time you think of them, every time you replay them in your mind, your subconscious mind does not know the difference, guys, between the past, the present, and the future. So you may have got that speeding ticket 10,000 times. You may have had that fight with your parents 500,000 times. And you could think about something now that happened actually back in your childhood, and your subconscious mind thinks it's happening again and again and again. It's almost like what he explained to me was, imagine this. Imagine if you had BC Place Stadium and it was filled with people and they all wore black suits, and there was only one person that was running into the stadium and running up to the very top and telling the people, hey, we're supposed to be wearing white suits. And then they start changing into the white suits, and then they got to run all the way back down, back out the door, run back in, run back up to the top, and tell the next group, hey, we're supposed to be wearing white suits. Those black suit guys, that is your subconscious, and the majority of it is negative. And those white suits are the personal development that you're going to be feeding into your mind on a daily basis. Now, the question is, are you committed to personal development? Because if you're in network marketing, direct sales, the home-based business industry, if you're in real estate, mortgage broker, insurance, automotive, retail, any type of industry where you're on a commission type of sales, I'm telling you what, if you do not have control of this right here, this can take you out of the game, okay? Take you out of the game. Now, after 3 years of working with Dr. Poulos, there was still something missing. And I went back out to the forest and I did another proclamation. I'm ready for my breakthrough. Bring it to me, right? And I didn't know how it was going to happen, but we speak our realities into existence. And lo and behold, who shows up but Dr. Darren. He was a master in quantum metapsychology, and he really understood the power of quantum physics. How do we actually create the reality in the first place? And he explained to me the equation for manifestation and how it actually works. And it's thought, directed emotion that generates feeling. And that feeling that we're broadcasting out communicates with the electrons. They're smaller than the atoms in the molecules, and they're in a state of what's called superposition. They're waiting for your instructions. They're both a wave of energy and a particle of matter simultaneously. Now, are you going to end up with everything you want over here or everything that you don't want over here? This is the challenge in the game, guys. You're literally walking a tightrope between two different realities, and whatever you're emotionally connected to is what's going to start showing up in your reality. Now, this can be very, very challenging if things aren't going too well for you, because we get emotionally connected to our bills. We get emotionally connected to the credit cards being maxed out. We get emotionally connected to not seeing our kids, or being stuck in traffic, or hating our boss, or maybe our marriage isn't working out. That's challenging, because whatever you have your attention on, attention equals love to the universe. The universe wants to give you more love. A little bit of a problem if everything you're thinking about is what you don't want. So the question I have for you is, which side are you on every day that you wake up? Are you on everything that you want or everything that you don't want? Now, there's two words that I focus on. What if? What if? Now, most people will say, well, what if they say no? What if I start a business and I fail? What if I go bankrupt? What if everybody laughs at me? What if I stumble and fall? What if I look stupid, right? Now, the peak performers think about, what if everything goes right? What if money is flowing to me in avalanches of abundance, right? What if everybody that I talk to wants to join my business? That's what I think about. So you have to be very, very aware of these two different realities. And I teach you how to master them in the Top Recruiters Academy over the 8-week period of time. Now, a lot of times what happens is, if we took a picture of you over here, and then we took a picture of you over here, people actually go through transformation. That means that they physically look different in the before and after, before the session and after they graduated. In fact, we've had graduates that have gone through. In our last class, Rohini, and she was in a situation where she was actually scheduled for thyroid surgery. Okay, now think about this, guys. The beginning, she was scheduled for thyroid surgery. At the end, she went to see a specialist, and they told her she didn't need thyroid surgery. So she went to see a second specialist. They had told her the same thing. She didn't need thyroid surgery. She also cut her insulin levels in half, and she lost 19 pounds. And she wasn't on a weight loss product. How about that? That's the baggage that you're holding on to. And that's the challenge that people go through, is they hold all of this baggage right here in their Pandora. And when you're in that state, guys, I got some bad news for you. You will not be able to manifest the reality that you want. So we actually have to clean up your past. The gateway to your dream is actually backwards. So we've got to peel back the onion to really get to the core of, what did your parents program you to believe about abundance and about money? What is your relationship with money? Now, it goes even deeper than your parents. It could have been your siblings. It could have been your teachers. It could have been your coach. It could have been the television or the newspapers at the time when you were growing up. What is your programming? Because your programming is going to determine whether or not you're going to get to your dream. So how can we reprogram your mind? That's the question. And that's what we do in Top Recruiters Academy. Now, the interesting thing here, guys, is that it doesn't matter what race you are. It doesn't matter what religion you are. It doesn't even matter how old you are. I can share with you that these strategies work for everyone. They're based upon some very, very simple principles that I explain really in basic form, so that you can get these concepts and implement these strategies into your life, into your business, into your relationships, into your marriage, the communication with your children. And we've had people in the beginning that were chief operations officers or chief financial officers making $100,000 a year. And at the graduate level, they got a $212,000 raise at the same job. Now, have you ever heard of that? Have you ever heard of somebody making 100 grand a year, and 2 months later, they're making $312,000 a year at the same job? We've had people that have gotten 2 pay raises, a job promotion, signed a $30,000 consulting contract, plus made $40,000 online, and tripled their income in a 9-month period of time. We've had people that have been completely homeless, living on the couch of a friend's house. In month 6, they had a $20,000 month, and 3 years later, they went on to become the CEO of their own network marketing company, the homeless guy. That is the power once you understand how this whole process works. How does the game work? How do you use the game controller? It's just like a video game. And once you learn how to master it, you become in charge of your reality. So when life throws you a curveball, which, as you know, it happens quite often, you have the game controller and you are in control. Now, what I like to do on tonight's broadcast is I like to showcase some of the amazing transformational stories that have happened. And this story is actually kind of unique, because the lady that you're about to meet, She was right down, as far down the rabbit hole, guys, as you could possibly go. She was living on her credit cards, buying groceries using her credit cards, and paying interest just to eat. That was her starting point. And she's just now heading into month 7. So in the very first 6 months, she has made over $98,000 in the bank from going through this training. Now, she got so much value the first time in the first 2 months that she actually re-enrolled into it for a second time and went for 4 straight months of Millionaire Mentoring. So Sharlene Savage, welcome to the broadcast.
Hey, Darren, thank you so much for having me. It's always an honor and a privilege to be here and to be able to share. So yeah, I really appreciate it. And just listening to you, talk about some of the pain that I had experienced. It's still there. It's still there in the Pandora's box. It still, hits a few heartstrings for myself personally, because the struggle was real. People have the saying that the struggle is real. It is. It is real. And it was so real to the point where my son and I are very, very close. And, when you're closely connected to your children, especially, they sense everything. They sense every emotion. They sense every thought, everything. So even if I was sitting there in my own little world, he would know that something was wrong. He would actually say, "Mom, are you okay?" And then I wasn't. So I'll just burst into tears. And he would just sit there and comfort me. So he kind of took the role of comforter and peacemaker, so to speak, during that time of having to, really find ways in which I can generate income or increase my finances, because I was getting nowhere. It was a struggle. It was a part of my life that I will never forget. I will never, ever, ever forget bills coming in the mail, my utilities, gas, power, water, also, my credit card especially, because, you're right, I was living off it, and I was paying an extreme amount of interest. And, it's the banks don't have the money anyway, but they give it to you and then they charge you interest on top of that. So I was more or less probably paying about 1.5 times what I was actually borrowing, which was just killing me day in and day out. So I was able to just pay for the minimum payments every month, which wasn't much. It was like $25 a month or something, but I tried to keep on top of that. And I did have some income coming through, Darren, with a few of the other income streams, but they were very, very little. They weren't guaranteed income. It wasn't passive. It wasn't residual. It was really based upon my own efforts. And because I lacked the skills and the ability to develop and generate income in those business models, I wasn't generating anything. So it was really tough. It was a really tough time. And I did apply for jobs back in the industry, and because I crushed it. I was crushing commercial sales. I was working in the consumer electronics industry. But when I applied, all the doors were just shutting. They said I'd been out of the game for too long because I had gone to Bible college prior. And so there was this, okay, you've got great experience, but you haven't been active in the space. We want someone who's got some current connections. It was all about, if you've got connections, we'll hire you. But I had connections from, a couple of years prior to that. So those doors kind of closed as well. So I couldn't even get a job. It was so hard. And so I had no idea where I was going to go, Darren. So those days of having to use my credit card in the supermarket, that it's the worst. It's the worst pain ever. And then if I did have money in my account, I would use it and just pray that it would go through. I was like, please go through, please go through, please go through, because there'd be people standing behind me watching, right? And then the attendant would say, oh, you know, it's declined. And they'd say it loud enough so that people behind you can actually hear it. And that was really embarrassing. It happened a couple of times. So that's when I switched to the credit card, because I knew that embarrassment or that being exposed wasn't going to happen, because I knew that there was some credit in there. But I consistently upped it. You know, I consistently increased it. You know, I had it at 5K, then I had to increase it to 10K. I ended up taking it up to 25K, and I maxed it. It's not good. It's not good. So
yeah. Sharlene, tell us, you know, a lot of people, they come from what I call conventional sales. Okay. They might be, you know, like you were in consumer electronics. They could be a realtor, a mortgage broker, an insurance agent, in the automotive industry, some type of retail. And a lot of people think, right, when they get started in our industry, that they can take those exact same skills and straight transfer them across into our industry and get the same results. And when they're a peak performer over here, and then they transfer it over to here, they're in for a shocker when they find out that those same strategies don't work in our industry, and they can't figure out why. Did you have that same type of situation happen for you? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so at the time when I was working in consumer electronics, and this was back in New Zealand, you know, I was the commercial sales manager for Samsung Electronics, and they hired me to run their commercial division. And so it was a new division whereby we were heavily involved in the domestic market. So we were selling in like the Harvey Norman stores, JB Hi-Fi's, all of the main chains. However, no one was representing commercial, and commercial is all about property development, retirement villages, hospitals, education, you know, the big numbers, the big bulk numbers. So not only did I enter into an industry that I knew nothing about it, and this is the thing, Darren, is that they hired me because of my attitude. They hired me because of my attitude. I just went in there and said, hey, you know what? Give me 3 months. Give me 3 months. I know I can do this. I'll find out everything I need to know about TVs. I'll find out about HDMI. Give me an opportunity, and I'm not going to let you down. So I really put myself out there. I was so confident in my ability to learn. And so I got involved and did really, really well. I had a really low base salary and high commissions. So I was on 40K, and the rest was all commissions. And so I was very features and benefits. Everything was about, you know, okay, we've got this MP3 player, we've got, you know, the actual phones, we've got computers and LEDs. I learned everything about everything. And I was becoming a bit of a product manager, a bit of a whiz. And so every time I went in to go and see customers, I would talk about the features and the benefits, because that's what they wanted to know. That was the industry. It was very, very different. And then I would have to negotiate pricing. So I was up against some other big players, you know, the Sony, the LGs. And so I had to really test the market in a new industry, but also learn a lot about the product. And so I became very, very good at the pitching, the selling, the features and benefits model. And so within my third year, I was earning in excess of $330,000. I had built my dream home in a plush suburb of Auckland, the city of New Zealand. I was going on dream holidays. Really, you know, it was some good times. You know, money was not a worry. I was just literally showering in it, so to speak. But you know, behind those closed doors, I was struggling with struggling with domestic violence and alcoholism and you know, psychological abuse. So there was a lot of things that were happening that were really destroying the inner me. And so it didn't really last very long. So we decided to move over to Brisbane, which is where I live now in Australia, and to start a new life. And so, you know, having gone from that model to moving here to Australia, and then we discovered it wasn't going to work. So we ended up separating. And then that was a whole new challenge in itself. I was in a brand new country. I had no friends. There was no family. They were all in New Zealand. And I was literally lost. I was just like, I was in Wonderland, like, where am I? Who am I? What am I? And so that was when, you know, I had to just cry out and just pray for a solution. And that's when I gave my heart to God. I had to do some things in terms of personal transformation. And that's when I went to Bible college and became the student. And that's when I hit sort of a bit of brick wall there, Darren, in terms of having to apply sales to these businesses, because I thought, man, I can totally crush this. These guys are holding these big fancy checks at all these massive, you know, events for these companies. And I thought I can do that. And I got involved in a lot of things, actually. I did supplements. I did shakes. I did, you know, the antioxidants, H2 alkaline water. And I also got involved in digital currency. So I was really keen to make some money. But do you think my skills from features and benefits were going to help me? No, they didn't. In fact, it was my weakness. It was to my detriment. And so I had no idea. I was stuck. I was literally stuck, not only business equipped wise, but also personally. I was in a really bad place. It wasn't good.
So Sharlene, you know, so you started to shift into this new path for you, obviously, and, you know, network marketing, direct sales, MLM business model, where they tell you to make a list of your friends and family, your top 200 list. What happened for you when you took those strategies, you made that top 200 list, and you did what they told you to do? Tell us what happened with your business. I mean, did you make any money? What happened?
The answer is no. I made zero. I made zero, because I did go and get a list of my friends and family, and I tried really hard to sell what I was doing, and I got nothing but pushback, and I got resistance, and I got a lot of rejection, and that was really discouraging for me. So I had, you know, a handful of people who joined the businesses that I was doing, but it wasn't sustainable. They kind of fell away. They couldn't keep up with the product, auto shipments. There was too much product to consume. So they ended up, you know, getting rid of the orders, for starters. And it became really a struggle. So I literally had zero customers. It was tough. It was tough. I didn't know how to get new customers. I didn't know how to use Facebook, because all I thought was, hey, look, I've got 700 friends. Surely, you know, if I can get 25% of them buy my product, then that's what I'll do. And so I just kept talking about these products. And then a lot of them, you know, unfriended me. A lot of them not followed me. And so it was really hard. It was also a bit awkward as well with some of the family members, you know, who got involved, because, you know, it changed the relationship. And, you know, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that type of relationship with family where it feels a bit awkward at the, you know, at Christmas time or anything like that. And so it was, you know, even talking about it, it really brings back some awful memories for me, Darren. It was tough times.
So what made the shift for you, Sharlene? Like, how the heck did you go from flat broke, bottomless, living on your credit cards, and in a 6-month period of time make over $98,000? Tell us about that shift that took place for you.
Yes, I remember that that shift very, very clearly. And I haven't actually shared this part of my story before, but I was with my son, and we were sitting in the lounge area. And he did what he does. He just knew something was wrong, and he says, "Mom, what's wrong? Are you okay?" And he just sat next to me, and he gently put his hand on my leg, and he just started rubbing my leg, and I just said, "Son, no, things aren't good." And he's like, "Why?" And I says, "We don't have any money." and we've got no money coming in. We've got no money coming in, and I don't know if I can afford to keep you at the school that you're at. And he just looked at me and said, it's okay, Mum. I'll just go to the school up the road. It's okay, Mum. We can do this. And I said, okay, but we know we don't have money to pay for the rent next week. We don't have money to pay for the rent next week. And he just said, God will show you. He just had wisdom. God spoke to him, and then he spoke to me. So God can use anybody. And God was speaking to me through my son. And my son just said, God will show you. And so we prayed. He actually prayed for me. And he just prayed, and he says, God, I just ask that you help my mum and you give her a sign. And so we were in agreement. We said, yes, God, give us a sign. And then during that time, Cruz, he said, oh, Mum, I'm seeing a lion. And I said, so am I. And I said, what else do you see? And then that's what he saw. And then I saw an eagle. So we both agreed that follow the lion and the eagle between the both of us. And so we thought, okay, high five. Okay, let's just wait on God. And then I went online, and so I thought, okay, follow the lion, the eagle. My son was there. He witnessed it. And then we were on the internet, and I came across you, Darren. And you were sharing this presentation based on, value and based on the pain that I was literally going through. Do you hate, harassing your friends and family? Do you hate being rejected? Do you hate, do not know how to generate leads? Do you not know how to, upsell or close those leads? All those things. I was like, yes, 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 yes. Who is this guy? And when you shared your screen, you actually had the lion on your desktop. And my heart skipped a beat, and I was like, there's the lion, Papa, there's the lion. And then at the end of it, you actually showed the Top Recruiters Academy eagle, the logo. And I knew straight away, God was like, follow this man. So I reached out, I checked you out on Facebook, and you had all these students and all these, wonderful testimonies. And I was like, what are they doing? And then I saw a testimony reel where you had people from all over the world. They all had different accents and saying, hey, I've just made $3,000 online and, and X, Y, and so on. And I was like, that's a lot of money. If I could make $3,000 in 1 month, I'm in. I was like buzzing out. That would really change my life. And so I reached out to you, and that's when I just knew. I says, what's this eagle? Let's just do that. I'm going to throw my head over the wall. Let's sign up. And I didn't question. I just went ahead and I just did it. And I just trusted God. I trusted God because God always pays for what he orders. I didn't have the money, but God did. So he made a way, and I found a way. So that was the breaking point from the time where I was sitting with my son on a couch in our lounge area to finding listening to what God said, finding the answer, and just really stepping out in faith. Because had I found you, and had I not joined, had I not, thrown my head over the wall, I probably wouldn't be sitting here sharing this testimony. I'll be honest. So it's something that I needed to do. I had to step in. I had to step out. I had to step up. And I believe a lot of people in this industry are struggling. They've got the signs. They know what they need to do, but they won't take that step to actually commitment and to really making that decision. And that was the breaking point. I made a decision. I made a commitment to myself. I made a commitment to my son. I made a commitment to my family. I made a commitment to his education. I've made a commitment to paying the rent. I made a commitment to not having to use my credit card again. I made all of those decisions, and I was like, enough is enough. This is what God said. I'm going to do it. And apparently this guy's got the tools. And so let's just see what God does, right? And so that's where my breakthrough was, Darren.
So Sharlene, so you threw your hat over the wall. You got into Top Recruiters Academy, And then tell us a little bit about the timeline, how it rolled out for you to start making money. Like, you know, what were the numbers in your first month, say?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember them very, very clearly. It was because every time I made money, I wrote it down in my journal. I was like, oh my gosh, you know, within 8 days, I made $4,000 in a profit. I was like, what? Where's this? It just came to me easily. Money just flowed to me easily because I was in the right vibration. I was in the right place, and I was getting the support that I needed. And within 2 months, or within the first month, I made $17,800 in my first month. In my first 2 weeks, actually, I made $10,600. And I think was in my second, it just continued to go, you know, to increase every month. And I was doing on average probably about $18,000 a month ever since that day. And it's been quite easy because I've been very regimented and very strict with following the formula. You know, I didn't have a formula. My formula sucked. It wasn't working. So I applied your formula to what I was doing. And the TRA, boy, oh boy, it was next level. I've never experienced anything like it. It really did stretch me. It really did allow me to see what was truly possible. And, you know, in the Bible, it talks about faith without works is dead. And I had a lot of faith. But I didn't have the works. I didn't have the formula. I didn't know how to apply the tactical day-to-day strategies. I didn't know how to do that. So when you couple those things together, faith with works is success. It's alive. And so that is what happened. And also, you know, TRA it made me look at my spirituality a lot different. It made me understand that, you know, God can speak through many different angles. And yeah, absolutely mind-blowing, Darren. You know, I just loved it. TRA was amazing.
You know, a lot of people, when I talk about some of these principles on, you know, how we create our own reality and how quantum physics is so critical in understanding on what's actually going on a day-to-day basis and how to master your thoughts. Now, keep in mind, guys, 80% of your thoughts every day, just because of the human condition, are going to be negative. 80%, okay? So a lot of people don't even realize this. So what's your strategy? What's your strategy going to be able to push that down so that you can rise above and really step into your greatness, step into your power, and step into leadership? Now, when I share these stories with you guys, a lot of people don't even know this, okay? They don't even know this when they get into our industry. When you enrolled into your company, okay, then keep in mind, these strategies work for any entrepreneurial business. I have personally used these strategies to make millions and millions of dollars, both online and offline, in conventional business, public companies, private companies. I've used these strategies to raise tens of millions of dollars to launch ventures. Okay, do you imagine being able to come up with some idea? Okay, you come up with some sort of concept or idea, but you have the skill level to be able to actually launch it into the marketplace. We have realtors right now that have just taken the strategies that they learned in Top Recruiters Academy and added $100,000 in extra commissions within a 10-month period of time. Okay, now I'm talking about not going out and buying leads, okay? I'm talking about the listings coming to them, right? All the sales coming to them. And when they first started, they had no idea that what they really needed to do was to step into their power and step into leadership. And once that happened, they actually became an expert on social media. And for a person that was actually scared to even get in front of people or even talk on video, Emily Ching is actually now leading her entire real estate office. Okay. She's teaching social media strategies, and all the realtors are coming to her because they see how much, commissions that she's making from going through this training. So these strategies apply to any different industry, guys, any different industry. But here's the thing you probably don't know, okay? Our industry is really a personal development industry. It's really a personal development leadership business model. Now, if you've never been in leadership, what do? Who's going to show you the step-by-step blueprint on exactly what to do, exactly what to say, what type of content to put out, how to gather groups of people together, how to become the attractor factor? And that's what you're going to learn inside of Top Recruiters Academy. Now, it doesn't matter what level of success that you're at. We had one gentleman in our last Top Recruiters Academy that has a real estate portfolio of over 25 million euros, okay, 25 million. And in his very first 7 weeks in Top Recruiters Academy, he added an additional $80,000 in income to his business. And now, that was with one strategy. With another strategies, he is popping $1,000 commissions like fireworks on the 4th of July. No kidding. And his life's never going to be the same. Now, when I tell people, once you learn these strategies, you will never, ever, ever have to worry about money again for the rest of your life. Sharlene, you tell me, complete vulnerability here, because I don't know what you're going to say, but you tell me what you believe now after going through Top Recruiters Academy. Is that a true statement?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, 100% true statement. It without fail, without doubt, completely changed my life. And like you said earlier in the presentation, I loved it so much, I signed up again. It was 2 months wasn't enough for me. 2 months wasn't enough for me. So I did 4 months of Millionaire Mentoring. And, the investment the value far outweighed the investment. The value far outweighed the investment, because this is an investment for my life. This is an investment, like you say, in personal development and leadership. And it was truly, it's truly something that I will always remember. I will always hold it dear to my heart, because there's something about having accountability, every week. So every week we'd gather and we would share, stories about what we've achieved, and then we'd have to share data and things like that. So it was consistent, and it was like, okay, I had to show up. I had to show up to the trainings. I had to show up to all the sessions and any of the webinars as well. And so having that compression the whole time and having to show up and to share those results, I was always like a straight A student in class. So I always wanted to be the winner. I always wanted to be the top of the class. So I was like, okay, if I just do what Darren tells me, I might just be at the top of the class, right? And so I was really striving to be the top student. That was my little thing for me. And, I guess you could say that, in many ways, in my world, in my words, because I far out exceeded what I wanted to achieve. I could never have, say right now that I've hit $100,000, hit centurion in terms of income within the space of 6 months, and looking back and where I am now, I'm just a little bit overwhelmed at where this is going to go next. So completely amazing. I just can't say enough. You know, I just get lost for words, and it's just the best thing ever. And enrolling the second time really just solidified everything. It was like, okay, cool. Repetition is the mother of all learning. Okay, you know, thought directed emotions, consistently having that, and knowing that I was going to get 4 hours, 5 hours sometimes of your time. And then sometimes throughout the week, you'd get the team together. You'd be like, okay, I'm just going to do a special bonus session for the TRA guys. And I'm just like, oh, you know, I would drop everything and just jump on this call because you would actually give more value. And it was just amazing, incredible value. It was an honor and a privilege, and, you know, highly recommend it. Absolutely.
You know, guys, what if, I want to share this with you because these are my two favorite words. What if? What if? What if you enrolled into this program and everything I'm telling you is actually true? What if you were one of the students that had a success story like Sharlene, that went from $0 to $100,000 in a 6-month period of time? What would change for you in your life? Would you be living in the same area code or a different area code? Would you be driving the same car? Would your kids be going to the same school? Would you be taking the same vacations or different vacations? Would you be doing something special for your parents, right? Think about that. What would be different for you if you went from $0 to $100,000 in a 6-month period of time? Well, what if I was to share with you the exact blueprint that I personally used to start a business and 30 days later make $165,000 in the bank without spending a penny on paid marketing, without doing traffic, without doing clicks, without doing banner ads? I'm talking about free strategies to get you to become the attractor factor, where you literally have Facebook inquiries, phone inquiries, Skype inquiries, email inquiries, and you see your income going like this. Because this is what happens once people not only learn the strategies, but they apply the strategies. And here's what's cool. It's not just you, okay? Because Sharlene now has people on her team having $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 days because she's now stepped into her power, she stepped into leadership, and she can now share strategies to get team duplication. Now, if you get into our industry and you're the only person on your team making money, you failed. Sorry to tell you, okay? You've completely missed the model of what our business model is really about. So my business partner and I rolled out a strategy, and over the last year, our team has done over $1.8 million in landed commissions just from learning a few things that we teach in private seminars. This is what's called an intensive. Now, what do I mean by that? If you go to my website at darrenlittle.com and click on the button that says mentoring and coaching, you can do that right now, and you'll see that if somebody gets an hour, it's $1,000. Okay, so start to do the calculation. We're talking about between 3 and 5 hours every single Saturday for 2 months with ongoing interactive chat with me personally and the rest of the group. So if you've got a question, you're talking directly to me. You're not talking to a secretary. You're not talking to staff. You're talking directly to me personally for 2 entire months, okay? It's over $38,000 in real, actual value. It's not some number that I make up. It's not some big hoopla over here. These are real, actual $38,000 in Millionaire Mentoring right on my website, okay? Now, I actually rolled this last 8 months. Every single session that I've done, guys, just so you know, has been sold out. Every one, okay? March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, all sold out. 8 months in a row, sold out, okay? And spots go super fast for this. Now, what I've done is you're not going to pay $38,000. You're not going to pay $30,000 or $25,000 or $20,000 or $15,000 or even $10,000. $10,000 is actually the actual price that the program is supposed to be. But I did, for a limited time, drop it all the way down to $4,750, okay? $38,000 in Real Millionaire Mentoring for $4,750, okay? Now, I will share this with you. Spots go super fast for this thing, guys. Okay, no joke. Because once we hit 15, shopping cart comes down and we're closed. Now, why do I do that? Because I have to get to your story, right? Your personal story, right? What happened to you in your past? What is the relationship with your parents? What is your relationship with money? What is your relationship with abundance? What's going on? Why haven't you already become financially free? What's stopping you? We have to peel back the onion, and I can't get more than 15 people, okay? So that every single person on the panel gets interactive personal time with me so that we can get you to your breakthrough. Now, we've had situations in Top Recruiters Academy, guys, that are completely shocking, okay? One lady in our last graduate session, she wanted to get this job with this consulting position with this company so badly. She applied everything she learned in Top Recruiters Academy. She was about 7 weeks in. She signed a $72,000 yearly consulting contract with the company of her dreams. And not only that, but she's now got multiple streams of income from all the things that she's learned within the Top Recruiters Academy. So, Sharlene, what would you say to somebody that's thinking about this? They're not really too sure. Should I do this? Should I not? What would you say to those people?
Throw your hat over the wall. Over the wall. And the other thing I didn't actually share with you guys before is that, see this book? I published a book. I published a freaking book because of the Top Recruiters Academy strategies. It really allowed me to, to really step into my power and to activate the greatness within me. And the book is about, the blueprint to activating your greatness. And, this is another testimony. And the reason why it is in my hands, it has got the thud, factor to it, is because of the strategies of, income producing activities, completing a task. You start something, finish it, start something, finish it. And, to anyone who's watching, and I know you've been watching my journey specifically, there's a reason why my results, are so successful. I did Top Recruiters Academy twice. Now, that's no coincidence. Think about that. Think about the time that was spent with Darren. Like you said, Darren, I could ask questions at any time. Every day you were there and you would answer everybody's questions and you would listen to everybody's story, and you took the time to really make people feel like they were the only one in the room. And so if you need that right now, if you need that personal breakthrough, I would say do what I did. Throw your head over the wall. Go find the money like I did, and it will completely change your life, and you will never, ever have to worry about money again. I guarantee it.
Guys, I want to turn back the clock for you here really quickly, and I want to share with you what happened to me personally when I was in my 20s, because I met my very first millionaire mentor when I was in my early 20s. And when he took me into his office, I mean, he blew me away. He blew my socks off with his knowledge and his expertise. And he says, Darren, based upon what you've seen and heard, can you see an opportunity here? I said, oh my God, can I ever? I said, but what's it going to cost? He said, well, if you want to work with me, keep in mind, this is 30 years ago, guys. If you want to work with me, it's going to cost you $4,000. And I literally, my stomach dropped to my knees, okay? That's about $15,000 today, okay? And I didn't have the money. I went home. He said, Darren, you got 3 days to come up with the money, because if you can't do it, you'll never make it in this industry anyway. And I only work with winners. And he turned around, he walked back into his office, and he shut the door. This is a true story, guys. Okay. And I had this burning feeling in my stomach. I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I went home. I drained my bank account to zero. I took a loan from my parents and a loan from the bank. And my very first month, I did $40,000 in sales from following his mentoring. And by the time I hit 35 years old, I made my first $1 million. Then I went on to make multiple millions. My best year in business was almost $4 million, all because of that first millionaire mentor that I had. So it doesn't matter where you're at, guys. I'm telling you this. The person that's in victimhood says, I don't have the money. The person that's the victor says, how can I get the money? That's what I did. That's what I did. And it's the best decision that I have ever made, just like what Sharlene went through. Best decision that she's ever made her whole life. And both of us now will never, ever have to worry about money again for the rest of our lives. And you could be the next success story. So throw your hat over the wall, click that link below. I'm telling you, you will never, ever look back. Guys, my name is Darren Little from Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Thanks a lot for joining us on this exclusive and private VIP broadcast. Thanks to my special guest here, Sharlene Savage. Standing ovation, Sharlene. I am so, so proud of you. I'm so looking forward to the next 3 to 5 years working together and the amazing things that are going to happen as we're traveling around the world, motivating and inspiring people and bringing them up to the next level of greatness. Guys, throw your hat over the wall. Click that link below, and we'll see you in the next Top Recruiters Academy, November, December. It's going to be off the chain. Trust me on this. And have a great night. All the best.